Hello everyone who might be watching this video.
We are an ENFP and an INTP. We're going to talk about our relationship dynamics.
I'm the INTP.
I'm the ENFP. We just got married.
Pretty awesome, and we're on our honeymoon having a great time.
And I noticed, I am more into this than the INTP, but I've noticed that there is a scarcity
The INTP, that's me now.
I've noticed that there's a scarcity of information about this relationship, that there's a lot of information about ENFPs and INTJs because they're supposed to be a perfect match for each other. And I've researched less on INTP relationships, but I imagine there's more information on relationships with INTPs and ENTJs. So we're going to try to talk about some of those dynamics and answer some questions. The first question somebody asked us was saying that we both have extroverted intuition. So how mutually engaging and beneficial do you find this interaction to be? So I think a lot of people say the ENFP and INTJ relationship is so good because they're both intuition dominant, which would be extroverted intuition and introverted intuition. And they have a way of sort of engaging really well with each other, where the extroverted intuition will see lots of possibilities and just go crazy, while maybe never settling on the one best way like the introverted intuition can. And so when they engage in conversation, I think they really challenge each other and help each other see, outside of their own way of thinking. So I haven't found that extroverted intuition engaging with extroverted intuition is challenging. I think we both swim in multiple possibility land a lot.
We love that. It's fun just having a million. Like today, we had a million possibilities for what could happen, and I still don't know what's going to happen. We just kind of take it moment by moment, and 20 minutes after we start something, we might change our minds and do something else. And sometimes that can get old or inefficient, but at the very least, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I feel like our conversations are really interesting. I don't feel like we don't engage well.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
We engaged so well. In fact, we were engaged.
I think a lot of how well we interact is really not due to Myers-Briggs functions, but more just that we have really similar values. We're at similar places in life. And we are engaging, I think, because while we share those values, we have really different backgrounds, sort of. Different interests. So he has a lot of things he's introduced me to, and I just find that fascinating, and I think that you've also felt that way.
Yeah, totally. You've introduced me to all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like musicals.
Yeah. And he's taught me that, board games are really, really fun when you get good ones.
And that happens because we always are open to new possibilities and want to try new things out.
Yeah. But also want to emphasize that it's not just, we can have really good just talking conversations. And I don't know.
Like, how was your day and stuff like that?
Well, no, we have deep conversations.
Oh, we have deeper conversations. We had a deep conversation 10 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, no, I don't feel like that's hampered. Let me see. Another question we were asked is, so P-types, if we're both P-types, we're stereotyped as being more flexible, adaptable, spontaneous, laid back, and open-minded. But we're also stereotyped as being indecisive, unorganized, passive, unreliable, flaky.
According to this one guy.
Well, I would agree with those stereotypes. Well, I would agree that those are stereotypes.
Right.
So the question is, are these stereotypes true in our case? How and how not?
Well, all the good ones are obviously true, but all the false ones are obviously false. I mean, all the bad ones are obviously, same thing.
I think I do feel like sometimes one of us needs to step up and be a little more J-ish than the other.
That's true. I mean, otherwise we just sit around all day not doing anything sometimes.
Right. And I think between the two of us, I tend to be more of a J sometimes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And I think we've had conversations before about where I've been like, look, I feel like you're making me be a J, and I need you to stop making me be the J. And we've worked through that.
Yeah, so I tend to step up when I don't feel like it and be as J-like as I can.
Yeah. I was just gonna say something, but I forgot what it was.
Should we go through that list and go through which stereotypes are true for us?
Okay. Are we adaptable and flexible?
We're very adaptable and flexible.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say that I feel like we're very good at communicating.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're very good at communicating.
Like, more than... I find it easier to communicate with him than anybody else that I've ever met.
Same here.
Well, I think it's just that we're both really, really direct and open and honest. And it kind of works out because he doesn't get, like, offended a lot. And I just say what I... say how I see it.
Now, do you get offended a lot?
I don't feel like I do, but I feel like I am more sensitive.
I feel like you are more sensitive. But I feel like I'm more laid back.
Yeah, he just doesn't care as much.
Hmm.
Like, he's super, super laid back. I'm a lot more high strung. So I can be critical, and he's laid back enough that he doesn't care. And he's not critical because he's laid back. So it just sort of works out.
Just go with the flow
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah, I think that we are very adaptable and flexible and spontaneous. We're super spontaneous.
I'm very laid back. She's mostly laid back.
Do you think we're unorganized and passive and unreliable?
Yes. Have you seen that box in your room?
That's a very organized box. It's a box of things I like, cardigans.
Yeah, and then we ask, is this thing, have we lost this a particular thing or not? And then we have to look in that box to see if it is in the box. Because until we look in the box, we don't know if it exists or not anymore.
But we can always check the box and find out. So we're a little disorganized sometimes.
A lot of the times. But it's a very lawful disorganization, a very organized chaos. We know what's, for the most part, generally, we know where things are, even if they're not in the place they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yep. And I feel like sometimes I have to just be like, okay, we need to clean up and organize.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
It's like every day.
Well, it's not all the time.
That's true. That's true.
My point was that, you know, we can be consciously organized. I think P-types tend to like to be like, okay, I'm just going to go crazy right now. But then the rest of the time, they just don't want to think about it. So, like, we'll let it just be messy and then we'll clean. But then we're not going to, like, keep cleaning constantly.
Yeah, it's not like we're going to be like, okay, from now on, we, like, put all our clothes in the closet as soon as we're done using it. It's more like, hey, there's a million clothes items on the floor. Maybe we should clean everything up. And
just get it done in one big thing and you're done thinking about it.
One fell swoop.
Until there's another mountain waiting for you. So anyways, I feel like we both, like, are like that, so it kind of works out that we don't have, like, one of us being the J-type being super annoyed all the time. And we both do care about, like, cleanliness and some degree of organization, so we can, like, help each other.
It's true. It's true. We are willing to wait until there's nothing better to do to clean up.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means things get really messy, but we'll always clean up before our friends come over.
If there's time.
Usually. We're such peace.
But it's nice. Like, I have a lot of J friends. Actually, we just got married and my entire bridal party was all J's. And I thought that was interesting. Like, all my girlfriends are J's and I'm marrying a P. But I think it's because, like, I can put up with that in my friends and I really appreciate it because they help me, like, organize things. Like, it was great having a bridal party of all J's because they, like, were on top of everything. And I was all laid back and didn't care, but they, like, made sure that everything got done and that I was thinking of everything. But sometimes in my relationships with them, I start to feel literally judged and, like, constricted and, like, I have to do it a certain way. And if I don't, like, I'm being, you know, immature or irresponsible.
Irresponsible.
Thank you. And so I think for, like, a long-term, like, marriage relationship, it actually really helps that we're both P's and we both understand that. I think another P stereotype is what we were talking about earlier about, like, how some people think we're childish.
Oh, yeah. We're pretty childish.
And playful.
But responsible.
Yeah. we just take things lightly, you know.
Yeah.
I try to.
Yeah, definitely.
It's more fun. She's up.
Well, let's see. Are there any other?
There's
So he asked
quite a
about
few
the
more.
stereotypes, but I feel like there was another question in there. Do you find any of the stereotypes to be true? Oh, okay. If so, which ones? Lastly, what are the challenges and opportunities that come with being with the other type, namely INTP or ENFP in this case?
Challenges or opportunities?
Whoa, that's a big question. It's kind of what all of this was about.
Yeah.
I think we kind of like went over a lot of that in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. We could talk about how we're different. And how we're the same. I feel like we're really similar in a lot of ways. We're both very whimsical and daydreamy and in our heads.
Yeah, definitely.
But I feel like we are in different ways. Like I'm obviously always thinking about people and relationships.
Whereas I'm super laid back about those things. So like I might not care. Like I often just want to take whatever is the easiest for us, and often consider less how that affects other people. Not to say I'm a jerk or anything,
Mm-mm.
but I tend to expect other people to have lower standards than Kristen wants to comply to.
Yeah.
Mm,
But he also is really good with like more technical things, and he's
I can get in the
playful and
zone.
whimsical, but he's also very rational, and that's really fun.
Yeah, you often like use me as a soundboard when you want to like see how much of the things you're thinking are like subjective and how much is actually objective.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I oftentimes just am able to weed through all the subjective emotions and find all the things that are true in a particular situation. Are we allowed to kiss in this video?